and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Transportation System.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Double Dose of Disney podcast. As always, my name is Brittany, and I am joined here by my Animal Kingdom loving husband, Tony. By the time you hear this episode, we just may be wheels up or already in Walt Disney World. We leave for Disney the day that this episode comes out, and we absolutely cannot wait to be back. So we figured that it would be fun this week to share the things that we are most excited about with heading back to Walt Disney World. This will be our first trip back to Disney in a year, which is an extended absence for us. We had started going a couple times a year, but with everything with my pregnancy and everything like that, we weren't able to travel. So we are so excited to be back, and we are just going to break down the top 5 things that each of us are most excited about.
Extended absence.
Yep.
Sounds like we're being disciplined from not being at school.
Well, it feels like
Extended absence.
Yeah.
You have not spent enough money here. Come on back.
Yeah. Yeah, we're supposed to have gone on like a Disney cruise, gone to Disneyland, also been to Disney World all within the last year. But God said, nope, you get blessed with twins, so it was all worth it.
Yeah, you heard about it. We joke about it, but it's true. We spent all our money in the healthcare system this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we got twins. So we're happy about it.
Yeah, no, it's very, very worth it. And the cool thing with being away from Disney for this long is, as much as we've missed being at Disney and being in the bubble, we always talk about how we try to live in that bubble each day. And I always say, like, you know, there's some give and take with that at home just because you are in reality. But the cool thing about being away from the parks this long is that there's a lot of new things that have opened since we've been there, mainly over at Epcot, I feel like. But there's new dining locations and all this stuff that we haven't, or rides that we haven't gotten to experience yet. So there's really a lot of new things that have opened within the last year that we haven't gotten to do.
That's a jot, an extra one down.
Oh, sorry.
Think about.
Sorry. But, you know, like, there's Walt Disney's vision was that the parks would always be changing, and that's really true. A lot of people say that there's not a ton on the docket in terms of new things coming to Walt Disney World, but in the last 12 months that we've been away, there's been 2 attractions that have opened. There's been two dining locations that I can think of that have opened. There's a lot of new stuff, and there's a whole area of Epcot that's opened up. Like, there's so much to do.
Before we just ruin any of this,
sorry.
Let's get into the list.
Okay, you go first.
First on the list, before we get there, is just the journey. Like, the journey for not even just the flight, but our journey starts 6 months before. I mean, because we're building up.
Right.
We listen to other podcasts too. We watch people in the parks. But it's the build up. You know, it's not just getting there, not being there. But, you know, obviously when, you know, I don't get excited. I don't get excited until the week of. Yeah. We got a lot going on. Like, okay, until the week of, it's real.
Yeah.
Like, a few days before, now it's real.
Yeah.
But, like, and then especially wheels up. Like, we're on the flight. We're like, all right. We are on vacation now.
Yep.
And now we got 2 minions with us, so everything's more exciting.
No,
we don't even know where we're getting in. We don't know what we're getting into.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and you know, like it's the journey, and it's so exciting. We booked this trip we booked this trip back, I think, in October. No. Yeah, October. We booked it in October, and I was very pregnant. It was a month before we had the girls, and we were like, we gotta have a trip. We always love having a trip on the books. So
pausing there. If you don't have a trip, always have a trip on the books. You just have to. It gives you something to look forward to. You can always cancel it.
Right.
It just pay it off as you go. If not, just like it's something to look forward to.
Well, and for this trip in particular, we were like, okay, we're gonna book it, and Tony was like, you know, we can always cancel. And we always like know that in the back of our mind, but I don't like talking about that because I never want to cancel a Disney trip. But this trip in particular, we were really holding our breath as to, is this going to happen? And it was right around Christmas that I was like telling Tony, I was like, hey, like we need to finish paying our trip. And he was like, you know, I kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to go. And then all of a sudden, like that day when we were talking about making the final payment on the trip, I go to our mailbox and I had a check in the mail from my doctor, and it was for a return for the exact amount of our park tickets. So we were like, okay, this is God saying go. So when God says go, we say, let's do it.
Yeah. So number 1 was a journey. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is a different trip. Different order, like a different type of trip. So when we've gone to Disney World every year in February, this will be our 5th wedding anniversary to celebrate at Walt Disney World. It'll be our 6th anniversary total. But when we go to Walt Disney World, like we always like go to the boathouse the first night. Like we kind of have like this tradition that we do. And this trip's going to be very different because we have the girls with us. We're starting out staying at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside Resort, and we're planning on that night, so tonight, as you're listening to this podcast, hanging out around the resort, going to like Boat Rides Dining Hall, which I hear is a very underrated table service location, eating beignets. And so we're not going to go to Disney Springs that night, which kind of makes me sad because I love going to Disney Springs and all of that stuff, but I'm also excited to do things differently. And we have our girls with us, and it's going to be so different and so fun.
And that's like half of our excitement every time is it's a different order.
Right.
It's a different park first. It's a different resort we stay every single time. It's never...
Yeah.
There's...
We always try to make each trip different.
And it should be.
Right.
And that's how Disney wants it to be.
Yeah.
That's why you keep coming back.
Yeah. I had heard a long time ago, like, never do the parks in the same order. Like, always try to mix things up so you can't compare one trip to the other. And I've always tried to stick with that. With that said, we always go to Animal Kingdom first now. But after that, we kind of, like, mix it up. Or we do different things in different orders. Animal Kingdom, to me, is just the park that's the most relaxing. So if you end your trip with that, it's kind of, like, very kind of melancholy. This
is our opinions too.
Yes, this is our opinion.
It's always right, but this is our opinion.
If you start the trip with that, it's really kind of like like you're wading into the pool before you jump in.
It closes early, so it's like we think of it as a good walk-in resort. You kind of just putting your foot in the pool.
Right.
You can still leave and go get a drink afterwards because it closes at 7, 8, or
It closes at 7 right now, I think.
So typically we'll go eat afterwards. And it's just not one of those you're going to be in there all day long. You're going to burn yourself on the ground.
Right.
And you can't wait to lay down.
Yeah, because typically you come in from traveling. Like for us, it's a direct flight. It's not a long flight, but it's a direct flight. But nonetheless, you come in from traveling and you're kind of tired, but you're also so excited. There is nothing like the excitement of waking up on the day of your first park day because it is oh my gosh, it's our first park day. I can't wait. And last year we went golfing, I think. We went to Universal and then we went golfing. And so then our first park day was our 3rd day. And I remember it felt so different. So I'm really excited to wake up the morning after we arrive with our girls and we get to head to Animal Kingdom.
So on that note, I don't know the itinerary because I don't really pay attention.
Right.
But we try to do, if we can, do as long a stay as you can. And have an off day in between.
Right.
Because it builds that excitement. It's like you're on vacation again. You enjoy your resort and we get to a whole new park. It's like you just landed again.
Because you get that energy back.
You get a whole new park in the morning. You're not just we just walked 12,000 steps, stay up till midnight in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We want to be there, but we're not getting rope drop. We're not,
I think we learned from our first trip. We did no resort days and it was our first trip. And so we did no resort days and we were exhausted. We did Magic Kingdom back to back with Epcot, which is great to do the parks in the order they were built. But with that said, Magic Kingdom has so many attractions and Epcot's the largest park in terms of space. So I remember my feet were killing me.
Everybody says about Animal Kingdom too. At the end of the day, it's how you do the park.
Yeah.
I mean,
we walk back and forth a lot at Epcot.
Magic Kingdom, because there's so many rides, and you're not going to go in a circle and be done.
Right.
You're going across that thing 16 times.
Yeah.
But everyone says the biggest parks you do the most steps in. I don't think so. Because most time in Animal Kingdom or Epcot, you're probably going to do it twice. Magic Kingdom, you're just all over the place.
True.
All day long, and it's second smallest or something.
Yeah.
But you're gonna walk around it 4 different times. You think back and forth, Genie Plus. So
right.
That's I think kind of backwards.
And Epcot, you really in Epcot. We made the mistake our first trip of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But with Epcot, like, you really can just kind of stay. I guess it just depends. Yeah, I think it was just our first trip. We didn't know what to do. But with that said, I'm just so excited, like, for, like, to create new traditions as a family. Like, I love our traditions of going to the boathouse, like our first night and all of that stuff. But at the same time, I think it'll be cool to, like, mix it up. And we can always go back to that too, you know?
My number 2, because we don't what's the word I'm thinking of? We don't discuss this before ahead of time.
Right.
My number 2, we already basically hit.
What?
It's just a different resort. We're saying.
Yeah.
And because we need to get a map, because I mean we're pretty close.
We'll have stayed at half the resorts.
And like a backstory, this is when our first trip or two, like we looked at Boardwalk and like, man.
Yeah, we're saying
one day when we're loaded, we can stay at this place. We're never gonna stay there, probably ever.
We stayed at Port Orleans. We're staying at Port Orleans Riverside.
We're not loaded.
Yeah, we're staying at Port Orleans Riverside for one night, and then we're staying at Boardwalk. And yes, Tony, I remember our first trip. We were on the first
trip. We were basically broke.
No, and we were on the Magical Express, and we pulled up to the front of the Boardwalk, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Snooks.
We are never going to be able to stay here. We used to get Ubers from the Boardwalk because the Skyliner gets a long line sometimes at night. And so we've gotten
Every
Ubers.
Night.
Yeah.
Leaving Epcot for sure.
Yeah, we've gotten Ubers from the Boardwalk back to our resort. And we were always like, man, this resort is so nice. So we're super excited to stay there. We're like, it's just going to be like a bucket list resort for us.
The last bucket list for me, Polynesian.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Grand Floridian?
Yeah.
I want to stay at Grand Floridian in the updated rooms.
Polynesian has the vibe.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like Polynesian, and we always go to Polynesian every trip. Like we just like go like walk through there.
But yeah, different resort every single time we do. And if you're not going to do park or off days, there's no reason in wasting any money on a fancy resort.
Yeah, stay at value.
If you can't stay more than, if you can't have like off days in between or something, then obviously, don't even waste your money. Don't even have to waste your money.
This trip we're planning on. You said you didn't know the itinerary. This trip we're planning on doing like Animal Kingdom.
Spontaneous. I don't want to know.
We're doing Animal Kingdom, like a resort day, or Animal Kingdom, Disney Springs, and then we're going to Magic Kingdom, and then like a resort day, and then like Epcot resort or Hollywood Studios resort day. Epcot.
I already forgot. I'm going to ask you when we get there.
Yeah, I know he will. So we're gonna, and that's something that I'm excited about too, is that we don't have to have park pass reservations anymore. Thank you.
You know what?
Actually, with that said, we do have to have park pass reservations because annual pass holders have to have park pass reservations.
I'm not going to get mine to the end, and you'll get the reservation I want.
What?
I don't have to have one because I'm not going to get one to the end.
Why? Well, why?
Because you're the only thing that have to get one and you get a annual pass.
It's not a big deal. I'll make all the park pass reservations.
But before I forget
we're
about
both
it
getting
again,
annual passes.
another one I'm going to throw in there is we're going to have every button you could have.
Oh, yeah.
I always have a birthday. We have the anniversaries. Now we're going to have the girls. We're going to have the first time.
First visits. And then we're going to have I'm celebrating buttons.
So,
so we're going to have all four.
We're going to have every button.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you get a button every single time you go. Get it in the check-in. You don't have to wait till you get to the park. And you never know. Sometimes you get free desserts. You get a
free Mickey bar, corn on the cob, popcorn.
Whatever a cast member might be willing to do.
Yes, and it's all courtesy of Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me cry when they say that. My second one is this trip we are planning to try all new dining. So any place we have dined before, we cannot dine at again. So like I said, we're going to Boat Rights Dining Hall on our arrival night. I think we should go to Banana Cabana, which is the lounge at Caribbean Beach Resort, because I think that'd be fun on our Animal Kingdom day. Like if the girls are up for, we're not all too tired. We could go there. They have Caribbean food. They have like seafood fritters. They have jerk chicken sandwiches, salads, like stuff like that. But we could take the bus from Animal Kingdom over to Caribbean Beach and then take the Skyliner from Caribbean Beach to Epcot and then walk to Boardwalk. One of my favorite things is Disney's transportation Tetris.
Yeah, when it works.
But that will work.
That will work. And when it doesn't work, everyone's hangry, not a good time.
Tired.
And then we
end
end up in an Uber.
I know, and then that's the only thing is like with the babies, you can't Uber. Well, you can do minivan, but no, you can't Uber.
We double the price.
No, it's not really more. I remember we looked at it last
20%
episode.
Higher.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, what's yours?
Well, let me just move around here. Fireworks at the Magic Kingdom.
Ooh.
It's a monumental moment, folks.
Yep.
I mean, we first started this journey, we were standing front and center. I had just gotten fired from my job. Luckily, our trip was paid off. It was like, this is why we like Disney. It's not just a it's vacation and we spend a bunch of money. It's cute. We get away from people. No, like it's way more for us.
Yeah.
We'd like to stay in that place, and it means a lot to us. So like they have the girls there, and like
it'll be our anniversary.
They're probably gonna be sleeping, but just to be there watching them, you hear me crying, and I'm obviously sitting there with a snack or something.
Yeah. And we get to watch Happily Ever After for the first time in person again because
First time forever.
Happily Ever After was the show that we saw the first time we went to Disney, and that was the time that, like Tony said, that he had just gotten fired from his job. So it'll be really cool to get to see that again. We haven't gotten to see it because it returned in April of last year, and we haven't been back to the park since February.
And this is our 5th year.
Yep, 5th year.
5th year.
Yeah. Mine is getting to see the Walt statue. There's a life-size statue of Walt Disney that was unveiled in December on Walt's birthday at Epcot. It's called the Walt Disney Dreamer statue. So it's Walt sitting on a bench and he's looking out over Epcot. Epcot was like Walt's vision for Disney World, or the park that Walt was most excited for Disney World. And we are obviously huge Walt Disney nerds, I especially. So I think that will be so cool. I'm planning on the girls wearing their Walt Disney Studios footies that day. There were some footies that I saw last year for the Walt Disney Eras collection. And it was before we were pregnant, and I was like, I want to get those. I was like, but that would be weird to buy footies for a baby I'm not pregnant with yet. And then we didn't get them. And then as soon as we found out that we were pregnant with twins, I ordered them off Shop Disney. And so I have them packed for a trip. And I think that would be so cool to take a picture of them there.
A lot of pictures of that guy. Question, do you think that is an actual size of Walt?
I do. Like, I've seen some of my friends take pictures with him. And I mean, yeah, it looks like size. We'll have to look up his height. But I mean, from like from everything I've seen, it looks like him.
Oh, it looks like him.
I mean, like the size. It looks like the size of him.
Yeah, flexible tape and measures things out. That's something no one's probably ever thought about and done.
True.
To go slow time.
True.
But we'll get some pictures of him for sure.
Yeah.
Number 4/6. New food. We talk about this every single time, and we always resort back to the same stops.
Yep, but we're not.
Which we like. But I mean, I want to even get crappy pizza. I want to get Disney pizza.
No way.
Just so I can say, you know what? I tried it. Now I know what it's about.
Like our niece
used to say,
no way.
I want to give it. Is it a 2 or is it really a 3?
True.
Yeah, I want to. The things we always talk about. I want to get the cinnamon roll from Gaston's. Never ever got that. Talk about every single time.
Yeah.
And then some of our table service we always talk about. I want to try to go. Go to the Space Lounge.
Right.
Which is always a 16-hour wait, but we're gonna try to get in there.
I would love to go to. We love Disney dining so much, and I think you probably know that if you listen to our podcast every week because we are always talking about it. But there's a new dining location that opened up at Disney Springs called Summer House on the Lake. I think that place would be so cool to go to for like a brunch or something like that. We've never eaten at Chef Art Smith's. We've always said that we wanted to. We've never gone to Paddlefish. There's so many different places that we haven't gotten to try yet, and I'm really excited about that. Beignets. We haven't eaten beignets yet. Also,
well, after this year, it's going to be like California. Now it's going to be a staple.
Right.
You don't have to go to Port Orleans to get them.
Yeah, and that's something we're really excited about with staying at Port Orleans. When you're going to Disney World, like, make sure to check out the resort to see if there's anything special there. Over at Pop Century, they have the tie-dye cheesecake that's kind of like what they're known for. Each resort kind of has something like a little different. Over at Art of Animation, when we stayed there, they had, it's Finding Nemo, but it was like it's a cheesecake mousse, like if that makes sense, but it looked like a fishbowl. And when we stayed there, I probably ate like 3 or 4 of those because we were on the dining plan and that was like my nightly snack.
That's a tip. Like, it's hard when you, especially when you go one time a year or twice. It doesn't matter. Like, you know it's good. You want to stick with it. But you only have so much room in the tank.
Right. And you're like, I missed that. I looked for it.
Right in half. Do half new stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it sucks, be like, okay, well, I tried it. Everyone's always talking about it. At least I know it sucks. I'm not gonna do it again.
Well, and one of my rules that I make for like our dining is if we've eaten one American food meal per day, then like we can't eat a second one. So if we're eating like a hamburger, we can't eat like a place that has like American food for dinner, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one of the hardest ones is I think Epcot, because there's just so much, and we cruise around the whole thing, but I feel like we do a pretty good job of stopping at every single booth.
What we did
get a lot of the same stuff. What
we did at Epcot last year, and I wouldn't be opposed to doing something similar this year, is last year we did a progressive dinner at Epcot. We put all of the countries into Tony's like phone into like a randomizer, and we let that choose where we were going for like an appetizer, an entree, a dessert, like cocktails, stuff like that.
We're gonna do that for at least once.
Yeah, and because they're staying at Epcot. Oh, and that's the reason why you have to get an annual pass at the beginning of the trip, not the end of the trip, because you only have 5 days of park tickets, and we're going to be there longer than that. That's why you got to get an annual pass at the beginning.
Corrected again.
By the way, we're getting annual passes, and we are so excited for it. But I think...
We just want the magnet.
No. It's we
can get a shirt now.
Yeah.
Say shirts is
Magic bands, all
things. Might be a one-time thing. We're gonna get a shirt.
That's going to be a one-time thing.
Bumper sticker too.
Anyway, I know we can have annual pass. We can put annual pass magnets on the back of our cars in Texas. But I think, but like there at Epcot, there's the Disney on Broadway concert series. I would love for us to go one night into Epcot to go see it's Tarzan and singers from Tarzan and Lion King that are going to be singing. And I think that would be so cool to do that one evening, like on like a resort day or something like that. Just like walking Epcot. With a turkey leg. Do they have turkey legs in America Pavilion?
That's where they sell them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And a funnel cake.
Oh, okay.
Which we never get because we're from Texas. It's kind of like at every fair and every state event. But
I know.
You know what?
You can get it.
Sounds good right now.
I'll watch you. I'll watch you eat it.
Number 5/7. The Skyliner.
Every trip, Tony loves the Skyliner.
You do too.
I do.
It's like the airplane lady on there telling you where you're going. It's just something different.
Yeah.
Not having to drive anywhere, 'cause just all day long in your normal life you're driving. So in Disney, sit back, relax.
We'll have you home soon.
No, don't have to drive. The girls can experience whatever that even means to them, but it's,
And can I confess to you that I cannot wait to drive to Disney World one day? Like, I cannot wait to, like, drive around Disney World property. I know that you get frustrated because Tony drives all the time, obviously. He owns a handyman business. But, like, someday, like, when we live in Florida, I cannot wait to get to drive to the parks. I don't know why.
It's going to hire a driver.
Well, there's so many driving services in Florida. I mean, or we could just Uber, but I can't wait to be. I've always wanted to go to that gas station that's on Disney property that we go over when we're on the Skyliner.
Go to McDonald's.
Yeah, and there's a McDonald's, and it's like one of the largest McDonald's or something.
I think it's 2-story.
Yeah, it's like we've never been there. It's over by the All-Star Resorts, but it's supposed to be. I think it's like run off of like green energy or something too. So
green eggs and ham.
I would just love to be able to do all those things. So, my next one is the Moana Journey of Water attraction. This is another new attraction that opened at Walt Disney World. I think that one opened in maybe like the end of the summer. I can't remember when it opened.
It's been like 3 months.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when it opened. But the Moana Journey of Water attraction so Epcot originally opened as kind of an edutainment park, quote unquote. It merged entertainment and education. And Moana Journey of Water attraction kind of teaches you like the life cycle of water. It's very interactive. It seems so cool. I have thought that the statue of Te Fiti just looks so amazing. And I'm so excited to get to see all of that in person and experience that.
We talked about it, and I think they're trying to bring it more of a kid-friendly park. because there's not much in. Everyone says Epcot's just a bunch of trucks, and that's there's not much going on for kids there. So I feel like that's why they're doing this for one. But I've never seen it with no walls down.
Yeah.
So for me, it's gonna look completely different.
Well, there's still some walls up, but not as many.
They've got maybe half or something.
I would say probably 60% are down.
Even that, every time you go to Disney, it's something different. You think, I'm used to just walking around this whole thing with walls every time.
Last year,
I don't even know what it looks like.
Last year, the train returned to operation.
Never read that
for the first time. Yeah, and there was like a scrim that was over the train station for a while. Remember? So like getting to see that was really cool. Epcot's gonna be a totally different park now. I think that's really cool. There's also
just prioritize stuff every time because there's things coming, there's things going, there's things shutting down, there's new stuff,
Is there anything that's shutting down?
Well, Splash Mountain shut down.
Yeah, and Country Bears, but not like...
revamped.
Yes, refurbished.
That's another thing, more kid-friendly songs is what's happening there.
Yeah. And
haven't heard it from the press, but that's my opinion.
Splash Mountain is being rethemed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so that will be another like IP. That's something that a lot of people, a lot of like Disney fans have not a problem with, but like criticize Disney about, is that Disney's kind of going in the direction of involving their IP, their intellectual property, into everything. So instead of it being like Splash Mountain, which is not or let's say Big Thunder Mountain, which is not based on a movie or something like that, they would retheme it to something that has to do with a movie. They're not doing that with Big Thunder Mountain. That's just like an example, but just in theory, like that's something that a lot of people criticize Disney for. So I don't know. I'm really excited just to get to see like all of these things. Like I'm excited to ride Remy's Ratatouille Adventure again. It's been a year. I'm excited to ride that.
Frozen?
I'm excited to ride Frozen. I'm excited
to bring that one time
to take the girls on Peter Pan's flight. I think that they'll love like all of the lights and everything on that.
So on the same vein, it flows right into my number 6/9.
What?
Tron. New ride.
Yeah?
I don't know.
What?
I'm assuming I would like it.
Everybody loves it that's ridden it, that I've talked to.
Our number one, if you don't know, is Guardians.
That's our number one ride.
That's the best ride in Disney. Hands down.
Yeah.
You don't get sick. Everybody says you get sick. You don't get sick.
No, you don't.
This is the smoothest.
It is.
Air flowing. Like, we got faked out for years thinking that everyone said you get sick on dinosaur. No.
They said we would get sick on Star Tours, Millennium Falcon. Yeah, I know they do.
The only ones we've ever got.
If you have extreme sensitivity to motion,
Mission Space,
maybe. Yeah.
Mission Space, like orange for sure.
Star Tours, I could see
Star Tours, if you don't ride it in the middle,
right?
That one is iffy if you don't pay attention. That one, yeah, you can definitely. I feel like sometimes like don't ride after lunch thing, but yeah, for the most part. No, Disney has them toned down like perfect, where the majority of anybody can ride, and that's what they want.
Right.
They don't want somebody throwing up on the side of the walkway.
Yeah.
They can't afford that.
No, you're right. Yeah, they can't afford all of that.
And if it was that easy, you would see it way more often. You don't see it.
Right.
As much as everything's viral, you would see if there's people throwing up all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
No, I totally agree. And it's like, there's so many rides that are just like amazing at Disney, and it's like, so most of the rides at Walt Disney World, I've had this question a lot. Most of the rides at Disney are not, they're not like thrill-seeking rides.
They tell a story.
Exactly. They're storytelling.
Some of them might be more intense, but they tell a story. They want everyone to ride all of them.
Yeah. So for the girls, any ride, like most rides there's a lot of rides at Disney World that don't have height requirements. I would say most of the rides actually at Disney World that don't have height requirements. So the
Universal, opposite.
Yeah, Universal is opposite of that. So at Disney World, the girls can do most things. They obviously can't ride Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Expedition Everest, Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror.
Roller coasters, quote unquote.
Yeah, they can't ride like Alien Swirling Saucers, the Barnstormer, like things like that. But everything else they can ride because they're slow moving attractions. So we're so excited just to get to like experience things through their eyes, through what they can see. Like now they're able to see farther away. They track you with their eyes, like all of these things, and I think that's just going to be really cool.
Yeah, so at the same time, though, we're going to try to get as much as we can, like pictures, footage, whatever.
Right.
We can still ride all those rides. We just have to do them separately,
The thrill rides.
Yeah. So we can do, I'm blanking.
We can do, not single rider, but rider switch.
Yeah, can't do single rider.
Yeah, we can do single rider, but we can also do rider switch for, like, rides. So, like, let's say Tony and I want to ride Expedition Everest. All you do is you go up to the cast member, say, we're going to do rider switch. It's actually rider swap. We're going to do rider swap. And one of you goes and gets in line, rides the attraction, and then the other one waits with the kiddos. And then when, let's say it's Tony. When Tony's done, I get to go. I'll have you'll have a card that you give to me, and I'll take that card and go up to the front.
Many people know about that.
No, I really don't, because
it's not really publicized.
You don't have to. You both don't have to wait in line. So, for example, like Tony would wait in line if he was going first. He would wait in line the entire time.
So if your kids are screaming, you can go outside and give them an ice cream.
Yeah, he would be given. He would be giving them a card. He would be given a card, and then I would just go straight to the front of the line. What we're going to do, though, is we'll also book those things with Genie Plus. So, for example, like on Space Mountain, where the line gets really long, the line can be like 60 minutes on Space Mountain. That wouldn't make sense for Tony to like sit in line by himself for an hour. Instead, we'll get a Genie Plus lightning lane for that. You'll go ride it first. Again, you'll tell the cast member like it's gonna be rider swap, and then I'll wait with the girls, and then I'll just go hop on the ride.
Yeah, I mean, completely different experience, but at the same time, it's like we don't even have to do any of these things.
No,
we've done them all. We want to. It didn't happen. Fine.
Right.
Then you can just enjoy the park.
Yeah, we can enjoy the park. We can enjoy the shows and all of that stuff. I'm so excited for them to get to see Festival of the Lion King. Mickey's PhilharMagic, I'm so excited to see. They won't understand any of that. But they'll probably be snoozing at that point. But I'm excited to see like all the shows and stuff that we love so much.
That's all I have. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm excited for everything. Especially since we haven't been there in a while.
No, 100%. And that kind of flows.
You have one more?
That flows into my last one. My last one is celebrating all God has done this year. So we go to Disney every year for our anniversary. And we arrived at Walt Disney World a year ago today. So it will be a year and a day since we stepped foot in the Disney bubble, quote unquote. And so the 6th year of marriage is like iron. That's like what it celebrates. And I truly feel like God like refined us in this last year, and God forged us with iron in this last year. Like going through everything we did with our pregnancy, it was such an incredible blessing. It's such an incredible blessing to have the girls here now, but it was hard to go through, and it was like we really got to like cling to each other. And it's such a cool thing because I feel like God does these crazy things, and Disney is a place for us that we always get to go celebrate like big milestones. Like there's always big stuff that like I feel like God clarifies to us or things like that when we go to Walt Disney World, and it's so cool that that's our place.
Well, and like happily ever after says the the words butcher it's like go create your happily ever after.
Right.
That whole like last like end speech like for that year for us was like, all right. It was like a pep talk. So like think of it in that way, like create something, like dream about
right.
It. It's like it's all Walt did.
The whole reason the park
think
exists
about
is
something you never done. Go after something you never accomplished and just go for it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah.
It's like that's all Walt was about. He failed all the time. But guess what? All this is here because of him.
Right.
He went bankrupt, whatever, like Elvis, but guess what? Look at it now.
Like, ridiculous. Life is, and Walt even says in One Man's Dream, he says, like, I believe it's good to have one big failure, like, early on in life.
You need them, yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, we can set out and do something. Like, this is our 27th episode of our podcast. We started doing them back in August, and it was just like, well, we're just going to see what happens. We're just going to record this for us. And now it's something that we get to see, like, we get to see progress with, and it's so cool to get to see that. But if we failed, who cares? Like, that's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's so many things. And so I'm so excited to see, like, all that God has for us, but also to get to just celebrate what he's done in this last year, because this last year of our marriage has been so crazy. It tested us in so many ways, but we get to celebrate two amazing miracles that we get to take to Disney with us. We get to celebrate another year of marriage to infinity and beyond. And so much of what happened like this past year, I tell Tony all the time, I just am so thankful for Tony, like just being so selfless and everything like that he has been this last year. And he's always like that. That's just who he is. But I'm just so grateful to get to celebrate another anniversary with you and to get to have fun in our absolute favorite place. And I get to eat confectionery popcorn on our anniversary, because if you don't know, you should create your own popcorn mix in the confectionery.
Wait, last time we were looking at, you said you wouldn't even get because it was too much.
Huh?
It was like too many toppings or too...
No. I said that type. That was the Valentine's popcorn.
Oh.
I do the create your own mix. So I just get like...
No marshmallows and all that.
No, I get butter popcorn with like Skittles and peanuts, which sounds gross, and like chocolate syrup. So it's like you get to choose your own mix. So you get to choose your flavor of popcorn, which is really cool because that popcorn is actually made by a local family in Orlando. And then... you get to choose like your toppings for it, so different candies, syrups, and stuff like that. So
signing off, that's what we got.
Yep, that's
Follow
what we got.
along because we're gonna be, I don't know if we'll be live, but we're gonna be probably
No,
sharing a
we'll
lot.
be
We're gonna have a lot of pictures, we're gonna have videos, we'll be sharing a lot of stuff. Probably when we get back.
Be sure to follow us on the Double Dose of Disney fam on both Instagram and TikTok. I'm gonna be creating content that we'll share on both platforms, like in stories, as well as like on TikTok for like our daily outfits and stuff like that I want to share.
Yeah, we got some cool shirts we're gonna wear. We got some fun stuff.
Yeah, and also just sharing.
Got some stuff.
Yeah, and the girls got all kinds of stuff, including flower shaped sunglasses.
It's gonna be short lived. We'll get a picture of it.
So be sure to give us a follow over there. We aren't gonna have a new episode on February 7th because we'll still be at Walt Disney World. So be sure to continue following along, and then we will catch up with you guys in the next podcast episode when we get back.
See ya.
Bye. $5 per person. If you have 2 people in your party, stay at a deluxe resort instead if that's something that you want to take part in. And we've done that before. We've gone to like the extended evening hours and we had a blast. So I would say do that. I wouldn't say that the after hours events are worth it.
Leave it at that. I have nothing to add. Rest my case.
Okay. Next up is Genie Plus that Tony absolutely loves. Genie Plus costs between $15 to $40 a day per person, depending on the crowd levels in the parks. You're going to select which park you're going to that day, and then you'll choose like the price based on that. Do you know what the prices were for today for Genie Plus?
No, but I was just thinking it's funny because this keeps going up and up and up.
What do you mean?
I feel like it goes up every month or two now.
What?
It used to be, what, $29?
$25.
$25 when it first came out. Now it's $40. I mean, this thing's going to be $100 but in the next 2 years.
No, that was...
I mean, it's almost
That's
doubled.
during the holidays. It was $40.
It's almost doubled already.
So I'm looking at... actually, I can't look at what the cost was for today because it's already locked. But... if you go to like Disney during a lower cost time of year, then or a less expensive time of year, like right now, in January is going to be like a least expensive time for Genie Plus compared to like the holidays where it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I think we've said it a few times if you listen to other podcasts, but this is not for every park. You don't need it for every park. You need it for Magic Kingdom. It has a lot of rides. And we say Hollywood Studios.
Right.
So Animal Kingdom, you can knock everything out and just pay for individual line for Avatar. So
today we're filming this or recording this on January 22nd. It's a Monday. Genie Plus was $17 for Animal Kingdom. It was $24 for Hollywood Studios, $19 for Epcot, and $27 for Magic Kingdom. If you were park hopping, it's $27. Magic Kingdom and like the park hopping price are always going to be the same price. So I don't know. It really depends. I would say this trip coming up, since we have the girls with us, since we're probably going to try to like minimize waiting in line, but there's attractions at Animal Kingdom that I would love to do with the girls, like Navi River Journey. I think that they would like be mesmerized by all the lights and everything in that. I would potentially either A, we get to the park and rope drop that, or because Navi River Journey like famously has a really long wait, or we do Genie Plus for it. So I think it really depends on like your trip. In the past, we've never done Genie Plus at Animal Kingdom or at Epcot because it's really not necessary.
Yeah. So, but for the 2 parks, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, as much as it pains for me to say, doesn't matter the price, I have to do it.
The way Tony just said that. The fact that I can't stop thinking about Genie Plus.
Well, no, that they just keep going up in the price. I mean, it's like because I just know we're gonna pay for it.
No, here's the thing: that $40 price was last year as well for the holidays, so it goes back to that every year around the holidays. It has gone up since it started. It was like $15 per park. So when it originally started, Genie Plus, you paid one price depending no matter which park you're going to. Now it depends on which park you're going to as a cost. I think because a lot of people didn't buy Genie Plus for Epcot or Animal Kingdom. So they're trying to sell it for those parks now. But
maybe that's a tip. Buy it for the 2 parks that nobody wants to buy it for.
Yeah, but then you're still buying it for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios because you said you wouldn't go to there without doing it.
Okay, I confused myself. At the end of the day, like, Genie Plus is like, I feel like it's a must.
I agree. I don't think so. At Animal Kingdom, Genie Plus gets you on Navi River Journey. It gets you on Kilimanjaro Safari. It gets you on Expedition Everest. So it really like depends on like what you're interested in or in that park. Also, if you are going to, let's say you're going to Disney, you're going to Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom, on your departure day. You're going to go to Animal Kingdom in the morning and you're leaving that day to go to the airport and you're going home, sadly. I think Genie Plus is absolutely worth it if you're doing something like that and you're going to be in the park like for a short period of time.
Stack them. If you know what that means, go and look it up. You got to do a lot of research when you get into this, though, because if you don't utilize it right, you kind of just...
Yeah, and so, like, going back to, like, the example of Animal Kingdom, like, is it worth it? There's 11 attractions on Genie Plus at Animal Kingdom. It's going to be the animation experience, which you don't need a lightning lane for. Dinosaur, which I don't feel like most of the day you need a lightning lane for. You could. Expedition Everest... That queue is actually really cool, and you want to wait in that queue because there's so much to see. But other Friends in Flight, we've never done that. Festival of the Lion King, yes, I would say that is a good one to have like a Genie Plus for, so you don't have to wait for that.
Wait for the show to go out and you just hang around. I mean,
Finding Nemo,
you can eat and drink in that line outside. That's another thing.
True. Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond. I don't think you need a lightning lane for that. It's tough to be a bug. You definitely don't need a lightning lane for. Cali River Rapids. I don't believe we need a lightning lane for that. Kilimanjaro Safaris, depending on the time of day that you go, the line can get a little bit longer. And meet like Mickey and Minnie. We just walked straight into that one last time we were there. And then Navi River Journey. I would say Navi River Journey, Kilimanjaro Safaris, possibly Dinosaur, and Festival of the Lion King would be the ones you would want to use your Genie Plus on.
Yep.
So other than that, you don't really need it. So it just depends. Are those attractions that are priority to you? Then get it there. Either way.
Is if you don't want to be going across the park 80 times, then this becomes more.
Right.
You can utilize this and just kind of make it circled for the most part.
Or
you're keeping an eye on it and like, okay, we're gonna go across the park because Navi's it's a 30-minute wait for something. Not an hour. And then you go back the other side to Everest because now it's 15.
And so, like, let's say in contrast, if you are going to Universal Studios and you are using Express Pass starts out at $125 a person per day. That's what it starts at. Universal says you don't have to make ride reservations.
Why are we talking about Universal?
Because I'm comparing it. Universal says we don't have to make ride reservations. You just have Express Pass, you go get in line. But here's the thing. When you use Express Pass, you go and get in that line. There's a lot of times you have to wait to get on that attraction. If you use Genie Plus, you have to make a reservation with a lightning lane. But when you make that reservation, you just like go to get in the lightning lane line and you just get right on the attraction.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. So like Navi River Journey, if it has a 40-minute wait, we're with the girls. We don't want to have to wait in a long line. And we can pretty much bypass that line to get on the attraction.
Overall, it's worth it.
I think it's worth it, and Disney has also.
Nobody wants to wait in a line all day long.
Yeah, and I feel like Disney
has
made a lot of updates to the system that are always like at the benefit of the guest. And Disney said that this year they're coming out with changes to the system that are going to allow you to start booking things in advance. So right now you can only book things like that day, but I think they're going to kind of make it like where the Fast Pass was, where you can plan it in the past.
Last but not least, and this one's going to be brief because it's going to be a whole other episode.
We've already done an episode on this. The Disney Dining Plan. The Disney Dining Plan just returned on January 9th. So if you add on the Disney Dining Plan, the quick service Disney Dining Plan, it's 50.
It's a free pan. Non-stick.
If you add on the quick service Disney Dining Plan, that's going to get you 2 quick service meal credits per day, 1 snack credit, and a resort refillable mug. It's going to be $57 per adult and $27 per child, and that's going to be per night of your stay that they're going to add up those. So if you stay 5 nights, you get 10 quick service credits. If you do the table service Disney Dining Plan, that's $94 per adult and $29 per child, and that's again going to be per night of your stay. You get 1 quick service credit, 1 table service credit, 1 snack credit, and then 1 resort refillable mug. We've already kind of talked about like in another separate episode, like if we thought that this was worth it, but just to kind of recap it again since the dining plan's return, what do you think?
From our experience, from what we've learned, how it's changed, what we know now, it is not worth it. It's convenient, right? And it feels cool. It feels good. It makes you feel
all
VIP.
inclusive.
You don't have to get your card out. You still got a tip.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it. You can make it worth it and gorge yourself,
right?
And you'll come out ahead. You can come out ahead a little bit, but overall, it's more of a convenience thing. It's
like exactly what Tony just said. Is like you have to gorge yourself to make it worth it. Do you have to eat all of the food? No, but at the same time, you're gonna have to be eating like the most expensive thing in the menu, the heaviest items, like all of that your entire trip to make it worth it.
This pains to say because we like this.
We do.
It just doesn't make sense.
We like the Disney Dining Plan. We had it when we went in 2020, and it made it so much fun.
Magic Band pay, and it's just like, okay, don't go to that. Because it takes out like we're in the real world.
Right.
Again. Let me get out my wallet. Let me get out my
It
credit
felt
card.
more like an all-inclusive resort. It was like this mix between
into
like
your hotel room. Let me just scan this here, scan my band, and I can pay for my meal.
Oh yeah, it was like this mix between an all-inclusive resort and a location in the United States. So it was really fun. But yeah, I don't think that it's worth it unless you are planning on doing a ton of character meals. I could see then it being worth it because that $94 could like break even. Or if you were planning on going all out on your vacation and eating like a bodybuilder, then do it because it would be worth it.
That's it.
Yep.
And that's our show.
So that's going to do it for this week's episode. As always, be sure to give us a follow at the Double Dose of Disney Fam on both Instagram and TikTok. We will be creating and sharing a bunch of fun content this week because we are getting ready to head to Walt Disney World. So be sure to follow us along and leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. That goes so far to help us continue growing our audience. If you use any of our tips that we talked about on the show, or maybe you went somewhere that we talked about or something like that, please tag us on Instagram because that would go so far to helping us grow. And we will see you right back here next week.
And if you have any questions, drop them. We want to do some more episodes on listener questions. So if you have questions for future podcast, things you want to know or you're interested in, just tag us, comment us.
I'll put it on an Instagram story. I'll put an Instagram story up.
Send a stork out, wherever you go.
Send a carrier pigeon. All right. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.